Hi everyone, just another week 3 we're up to. Thought we'd have a chat about recipes today. Our topic is kind of a bit like why do we cook food, and so we've had a bit of a chat about that. But today I thought we'd just get back to some basics of how to actually read a recipe, how to interpret a recipe, and how to change recipes. So, just making sense. So we start from our raw foods, and then we end up into a cooked dish, and we have to follow a recipe, or we have to make a recipe or make something up, which is a recipe, in order to end up with a yummy dinner at the end. So let's have a little look. So a recipe is a list of ingredients and instructions for preparing food. So in English how you do a procedural text. So you'll have, an idea or something, like it might be how to play soccer or something, and you have a step-by-step of how to do that. That's basically what a recipe is. It's a procedural text. So we have a name. So the name of the recipe will be, fried chicken with a seasonal salad or something. Or it might be vanilla butter cake with berry icing. So after we have a name, so that tells us what we're going to be making. We have a list of ingredients, including quantities and sometimes some preliminary preparation tasks. So it might say 3 carrots chopped, or it might say 1 onion diced, or it might say 2 cloves of garlic crushed, or it might have half a bunch of coriander, leaves picked, so like we take the leaves off the stem. So just some basic simple things rather than going through it in the method as well. So the method is the next bit, and that's the list of instructions of what to do. So how we prepare the ingredients and the order in which the process should be completed. So it'll have step by step, often it'll have numbers. So step 1, step 2, step 3. I tend to write my recipes like that. And try and give you recipes that are like that to make it more simple to understand. So it's very easy to follow step by steps. And then also there's an indication of cooking temperature and time. So especially if you're baking a cake, the first step in the method is often preheat the oven to 180 degrees. And then down the bottom it would say place cake in the oven and bake for 35 minutes. Then there'll be a list of special equipment. So it might be that you need a 20 centimeter round springform tin, or it might be that you need a steamer, or it might be that you need a muffin tin. So, and then it has an indication of the number of serves that the recipe makes. So it might say serves 12, and if you only have 2 people you're cooking for, you'll go, oh, that's a lot of food. So you might choose a different recipe, or you might then cut it down. And we're going to have a go at cutting a recipe down for a purpose, and I'll talk to you about that. So this is an example of a recipe, berry oatmeal muffins. So we have a name, and it actually has the serving size at the top. So it says 12 small muffins. Then we have a list of ingredients with quantities. So we have cake flour, which is plain flour. And you've got 150 grams. Then you've got 1.5 teaspoons of baking powder. What does the baking powder do? Helps the cake rise. So 20 grams of cooking oats. So that's just your normal porridge oats. 100 grams of golden caster sugar. A pinch of salt. So that's not an exact measurement, but it's just using your fingertips. A little bit, pinch between, and then pop it in. 2 eggs. Sometimes after that, it might have a comma and say lightly beaten. So that's where some of those preliminary ideas come in of preparation techniques. 110 grams of non-fat yogurt, 60 mils of vegetable oil, and 125 grams of fresh blueberries. So, as I said, step 1, this one's just got little arrows instead of numbers, but it would be number 1, preheat oven to 200 degrees Celsius. Second thing, sift the flour, baking powder into a mixing bowl. Third, stir in your oats, sugar and salt. Fourth, mix your eggs, yogurt and vegetable together. The next one, pour the wet ingredients into the dry ingredients, then add the blueberries. Mix with a spatula or a wooden spoon till combined. Muffins, we don't like to overmix, otherwise they get quite tough and not light and fluffy. One of the last things is to spoon the batter into prepared muffin cups or muffin tins, which are lined with paper liners. So, like the patty cases. And then to bake them for 20 to 25 minutes. And then it gives you another instruction to leave cool, or you could serve them warm. So an example of a recipe, and we've all seen lots of recipes around. We've used recipes in class, and you've been doing a little bit of cooking at home as well. So I thought it might be useful for us to just go through these abbreviations and check that you understand them, because they are in every recipe you come across. So kg is kilograms. So we have that used for a lot of dry ingredients. So especially if you're making a big quantity of bread or something, it might have 1 kilo flour or 1.2 kilos of flour. We don't do much at school where we would use a kilo of something. And it could be even you might use a kilo of apples in a apple crumble or something. So, but we often are just using grams, which is the first one at the top, which I missed. So G means grams. So it might be 250 grams of butter if we're making something like a big cake, because that's quite a lot of butter. So, or it might be something like 5 grams of salt in something. So sometimes it's small quantities. And especially professional chefs, they weigh everything. So they might even say it's, 2.5 grams of baking powder instead of using a teaspoon. ml is milliliters. So that's when we would use a jug to measure out. So often our dry ingredients for grams or kilograms, obviously we'd use scales, but milliliters and liters are using a measuring jug for liquids. So ml, milliliters, L for liters. So you all know that, if you were going to use a liter of milk, that's quite a lot of milk. And it'd be if you were making, half a dozen smoothies, or it might be making a massive quantity of pancakes. TSP, teaspoon. So small t, SP, teaspoon. Capital T, BS, is tablespoon, or sometimes they're referred to as TBSP. So you need to read these really carefully, because if you put in a tablespoon of salt instead of a teaspoon of salt, your dish would be pretty salty. So it's really important to read these carefully. C usually means cup. cm is centimeters. So that might be, you might kind of go, oh, why would I need to use centimeters in cooking? Sometimes it'll say like a 2 centimeter knob of ginger, or it might say cut your potatoes into 2 centimeter cubes. So when it's pretty accurate kind of cooking that they're wanting you to do. SR is self-raising flour. So SR stands for self-raising, and obviously flour. And then we have degrees Celsius, which we use a lot for when we're using the oven. So really important abbreviations to know. So the next thing I want to show you and tell you what we're going to do today is I've got a recipe here called coconut chicken rice paper rolls, and we're going to make these on Tuesday next week. So I would like you to read through this recipe very carefully. And this quantity is too much for 2 of you to make. So I want you to have a go at halving this recipe. So it just means when you look down here at the ingredients, and I'll bring it up for you in a second, that you halve each quantity. So task 1, it says, halve the recipe, adjust the quantities of ingredients to make half this recipe. So we've got the title of our recipe, coconut chicken rice paper rolls. We have a picture. Often recipes come with pictures, especially now. Like a long time ago, they didn't. It was just a whole book of written recipes. Now we have all these beautiful color illustrations, and, we have people who actually do this for a living, like food styling, food photography, big business, especially with magazines. So let's just go through the ingredients. 400 ml can of coconut milk. So we would halve that. So how much would it be? It would be 200 mils. I'm not going to give you the answers for all this because I want you to work this out, because it's really important to learn how to halve a recipe and to double a recipe. So we've got a teaspoon of finely grated lemon rind, a tablespoon of soy sauce. So this one here, they haven't actually given you abbreviations. They actually have typed up the whole words for you. So going through, a cup of snow pea sprouts, carrot, 4 cukes, that means baby cucumbers. So obviously you'd only need 2. And when it just doesn't have a quantity, you just still leave that. That would be fine. And I want you to read through the method, because when we do this next week, I would like you to have some idea in your head how this is going to be done, because we don't want to spend all our time watching me how to do it. So it's pretty simple. You just put the coconut milk and the lime rind and soy sauce in a saucepan, bring it to the boil, add the chicken, cover and just simmer for 15 minutes. So then while you're doing that, you will actually cut and prepare all of the other ingredients. So, and we'll go through that later. The task 2, because this is a double period, you can have 2 things to do, is to rewrite this recipe. So this recipe, as you can see here, chicken and sweet corn soup, doesn't look like a very interesting recipe, and it doesn't look easy to follow. So I want you to convert this recipe here, where it says finely dice half an onion and 1/4 of a capsicum, then slice 1 stick of celery into thin pieces. Take a saucepan, saute the onion, capsicum, celery in 1 tablespoon of vegetable oil, so on. I want you to do it in this format. So list the ingredients, then do the method in step 1, 2, 3, 4, however many steps you think there is. And obviously we need a title as well, which is the chicken and sweet corn soup. So these headings: ingredients, method, and how many it serves. Because it's important to know how a recipe is designed. So when I was typing this up, I kind of just went, oh my goodness, this is so hard to follow and so hard to understand, because it's written as a paragraph instead of like this. So this is so easy. You look at it and go, okay, I need these ingredients and this is my method. This is how I'm going to do it step by step. So how a recipe is presented is very important, and it makes a big difference whether you would even have a go at doing it. Like I look at this recipe here, the coconut chicken rice paper rolls, and I go, looks amazing, looks pretty easy. I look at this and I wouldn't even bother. I'd find a different recipe. But I want you to go through this process of understanding how you would put it into another format. Okay, so all the best. Have a go. I look forward to seeing you on site next Tuesday, and we will make these amazing chicken rice paper rolls. It's a Donna Hay recipe, so all that stuff is amazing. And I might make this for my family during the week so we can have a look. And we'll make a different dipping sauce. I've got a nice recipe that I use quite often at home. Yeah, all right, have fun, and enjoy reading recipes. See ya.